Are we back? Are we back again? As always. God. You know what? I don't even think we need to explain ourselves because we are the most famous podcast. We are the best podcast.
Okay.
We are the sporting podcast of the gods.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? I'll just introduce myself. Youngest child, darts, football. I've got it. You name it. My name's Jesse, a.k.a. Marks. Come on.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that.
That's horrible.
Passing it on.
Hi, I'm Charlie. I'm the oldest sister, and anything motorsports related, I'm your gal.
And there is another child. Unfortunately, he chose skiing in the Alps.
I know, over
a
us.
podcast, yeah. So we will hold that against him for the rest
100%.
of his life.
Yeah.
I really hope he has a horrible accident out there.
I hope he doesn't in any way.
Due to what he's done to us today. When I say horrible, I mean like maybe he sprains his ankle or something.
Okay, just a nice sprain, not like
I'm not saying like a full-on skiing accident.
Okay,
No, not that.
That's nice.
It's a bit too far, that.
Yeah.
And as we always say, before this podcast starts... Oh, no, I've actually forgotten.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wait.
Come on, Jess.
3, 2, 1. Lights out and podcast on. Okay, you know what? I thought I didn't have it. I do have it. I always have it. I'm a G. So he isn't here with us.
Yes, but so as we do like to think about these things, Carter, in his infinite wisdom, has sent in some questions for us. Without further ado, he has sent in one question to begin with.
Right, 3 questions for you. 1, for football. Who was better, Prime v Prime? All right, Prime v Prime, same team, everything. Neymar Jr. or Zlatan Ibrahimovic?
I mean,
I don't think it's that hard of a question, to be honest.
The thing is, right, the only person I've actually seen play was Neymar Jr.
Yeah.
I've never actually seen... I know Ibrahimovic. I've heard his name. I've seen him.
It's funny, you play for Man United.
But I've never seen him
Out of the
play.
two, he's the only one that played in England, yeah.
I've actually never seen him play football. I've just seen Neymar play.
Unfortunately, it's not that hard of a question. Neymar was... hands down better than Ibrahimovic.
I know Neymar's got like a lot of fans.
The thing about Neymar was, imagine, I've always said this, the biggest flop of all time has to be him, is because his potential.
Right.
He was up there with the best of the best.
I was going to say, because wasn't there a period where everyone was like, he's going to be the next Ronaldo?
Yeah, so he made the Ballon d'Or top 10, or top 20, I can't remember which one it was, and he didn't even play in Europe, which is pretty much unheard of.
Yeah.
Ibrahimovic, don't get me wrong, top player, but he has the biggest ego possible. It makes it hard to actually support him.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, phenomenal player. But Neymar, he went to Saudi at I think he's 31 when he still could be playing and whatnot, and it's just upset. Essentially, he could have been one of the best players of all time. He still is one of the best players of all time. It's just he could have been undoubtedly, arguably one of the best. It's just he didn't commit as much as maybe he should have.
Would he have been as big as like Messi and Ronaldo?
The reason I never argue that is just because what them two did is just it's unheard of. It's literally you can't name a footballer against them two. They were just the best of the best. You'll never even get close to it. It's like I remember the other day I was playing FIFA and I put it on easy mode and I got a hat trick every single game of the season with Derby. Got to pick up the Derby. And I remember looking at it, thinking about statistics and whatnot. Yeah. And it was something like I had to do another 3 seasons of pure hat tricks each game to even match Ronaldo's overall goal score. And I was like, Jesus, really?
Yeah.
So it's unheard of what Messi and Ronaldo did. But we're going back to Neymar and Ibrahimovic. I just think Neymar could have been up there with undoubtedly one of the best players of all time. It's just, I don't know if he didn't commit because at Barcelona he definitely did. He was one of the best players of all time. It was just, at that moment in time, in his prime, 100%, it was just, I think it was a Saudi move for me. I think he chose money over passion. And I think that kind of dropped him down. As far as actual skill goes, he's untouched. It's Neymar.
I'll say Neymar on the basis that I've only seen him play. I've never seen Ibrahimovic play.
I thought you were going to say because he's hot then as well. So
I mean, yes. However, I will be on balance of actual skill for once. I will say him based purely on the fact that I've actually seen him play.
Do you know what?
Good.
while we're on football,
Yeah.
there was a lot of football news to talk about.
You have got a lot of football news to talk about this week. Yeah.
It's a milestone in Sibling Ting podcast.
I mean, I know what you want to talk about, but can I have a quick
I already know what you want to
celebration?
Okay.
Because last week we had our predictions, and you two blasted me for saying it was going to be Nottingham Forest,
I will cut
and
in
I was
front
right.
here. I will cut in front here.
I mean, you didn't. You said you just couldn't.
Out of
say
pure
them.
passion. I know. I truly did believe Forest were going to beat City.
Yeah.
It's just out of pure love for Derby County. Nothing could make me back them. Carter was incredibly wrong. I thought, you know what? I would cut in front because I thought you were going to talk about the darts predictions, which we are going to get onto.
We'll get onto the darts
which I was also
after.
wrong about.
Yeah.
But with the Derby County, this is a milestone. Sibling Ting.
Yeah.
This is the first podcast we have ever filmed where I can actually talk about Derby County winning a game.
I know, this is like a better one for you.
This is actually the first Sibling Ting podcast where I can actually talk about Derby County scoring a goal.
Yeah.
So, do you know what? I'm happy.
Yeah.
And also, currently on the date of this being filmed, in an hour and 45 minutes' time, Derby's playing.
Yeah, so do you know what? Next week you can really nicely talk about them losing, which will be lovely for you again. It's like going back to normal. Like going back to normal.
Well, this will be released on Thursday, every Thursday. If you don't know. Future me, don't say anything, like, don't make it look stupid, but I believe if we were to beat Coventry, Super Frankie Lampard's Coventry, I do think that we have quite a good chance if we win today that we would stay up. Because if you look at the points...
Is it Cardiff?
Cardiff and Stoke are above us with 46 points. We're on 42.
Yeah.
Meaning if either of them draw or lose and we win, we're just one win away from nicking them. Yeah. And them two play each other.
Yeah, so they'll...
Meaning one of them is guaranteed to drop points.
Yeah.
So if we can just... The good thing about Derby as well is with Derby, my momentum stays. We're normally, when we're a good streak, it's like Paul Warner, when he was in League One, I think he was like 20-something games unbeaten.
Yeah.
So not a win streak, but like a wins and draws.
Yeah.
When Derby's got good momentum going, it's good. And the football we played the other day was also very, very good.
Yeah.
Such good football. So I do think if Eustace has finally got the grip on this team, finally implementing his mindset, his style of play, and the team's actually like, we can actually stay up this season. We've actually got a good chance of doing it.
Yeah, we've got a reason to keep going.
If we win today, I would be very adamant to say we will stay up.
Yeah.
Because I personally think it will go down to the final day. I think if it does go to the final day and Derby County does stay up, you will not hear from me for about a week. That I'll be partying that badly for that one day that I'll be out of the runnings for the next week.
As long as you survive the podcast episode, that's all.
I can survive it. I don't know how well I'll be articulating and speaking, but I will be there. But yeah, I just think like it's good. Yeah. It's a good feeling to finally see your club do. We were talking about, we think Derby County's up there as top 50. I'd say top 15. Top 20. It's definitely top 20, but I'd say top 15 clubs in Derby.
Yeah.
In Derby? In England.
Derby,
in England, sorry. It's just... And the win against Blackburn particularly as well, after everything that's happened with the manager, it was a nice win.
Was it like £2,000 or something?
It was spent on rubber snakes, or like
around the necks.
Oh, it's quality. It's just, it's nice. Derby County win. We are such a good fan base. Crowd goes up. Great day. And you know what? Now that if we win today as well, I think the fan base will be completely behind this team. We always are. We always are. It's just, I think that's the reason I really hated Paul Warne, is because when the season we got relegated, we were more behind that team than any other season. Yeah, we would come cheering even to the final day when we knew we were gone, we were done and dusted. We were still there. We were still cheering for that club. But Paul Warne kind of ruined the feeling there. It was maybe the style of play, or he just made it so hard to support the club you love. Yeah. Now we're in a relegation battle with a complete fresh mindset, with a new vision, and I think like it's nice.
Hope.
It's hope. It is just hope. And do you know what? If we survive this season and he can fully get his own players in and do the Eustace Ball, I'm here for it. I'm here for the Derby County becoming Premier League club again. But that's on Derby County. That's the only Derby County news we have. Normally, I thought my first one would be proper celebrating. However, I still know the stakes.
Yeah, you still know it could go downhill within a couple of hours.
If we win in 2 hours' time, if Derby County score a goal or if we win, I think next podcast is going to be very interesting. I think that will be a party then, because that is a very important 3 points.
Or it'll be you crying.
Or it's going to be crying, yeah. It is going to be, this is a very important day to Blackburn, we had to win.
Yeah.
Today, we can't afford to lose.
Yeah.
A point will do us good here. So, I'm happy. Yeah. I'm ready.
Yeah.
It's good. Second bit of news of football. Champions League is on later.
Yeah.
The Liverpool's play. I'm not really going to go into the Champions League as much currently, just because I want to wait for... this is a bad bit of where we film, and this is why I recommend one day we should do a live stream on one of these reaction. Okay. I don't want to talk about my predictions for Thursday, for it to be released on Thursday when it's already happened, and this is a big event. This is the Champions League. But like I said, I think overall throughout the tournament, I will say Barcelona.
Yeah, okay.
I think Barcelona are going to take it this year. I think Barcelona are going to take it. I don't think you can catch Liverpool out. They were just absolutely dominating. I have said I think Aston Villa I don't think they're a good shout. I just think if someone was going to pull off the underdog story, it would be Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Bayern Munich is a shout. I'd like to see it happen for Harry Kane. I do like Harry Kane. I don't think they will. I think if I was to put money on it, I'd say Barcelona.
Yeah.
But there's Derby, there's Champions League. I just think we have to bring it up because of the YouTube scene and just... charity in general. Yeah. Sidemen charity match.
Yeah, I didn't see it, to be
5 million raised, I think it was.
I think it was 4.7 million.
I think altogether, collectively, it was like 6.1.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
You gotta love it. You've got to love to see it.
Yeah.
It was an 18-goal thriller. It was penalty shootout at the end.
It's a proper famous people football match.
You know what? It was lovely. It was a good day. I was sat right there watching it. Didn't take my eyes off the screen. It was entertainment gold. It's brilliant. What a day. What an absolute day. We've got to mention it. We have to mention it.
And again, I feel like we really need to mention Charlie was right.
With the
just want to go with it. Charlie was right. This is becoming a bit of a thing. So, with that in mind, Jesse, shall we go to Carter's second question?
Oh, I was going to talk about one little thing. We did say we're going to mention it.
Oh, God, why?
Darts. We have to bring it up.
Okay. Interesting you say that, though, Jesse.
Is the next question darts?
Because the next question's about darts.
Oh, let's hear it then. Let's hear it.
Carter's second question is...
Second question for darts. Who's better in their prime? Gerwyn Price or Michael van Gerwen? Prime v Prime.
Prime. Gerwyn Price. Or Van Gerwen.
I will say to the fans as well, one day we need to film up behind the scenes of how we record the Sibling Ting. It is a good laugh. It is a good fun.
The issue I've got here is I don't know what they were in their prime. I've only ever watched them in the past year.
I love my brother to pieces, but he could say something sometimes where I think, why? It's not even close.
Would it be a better question to go with like Van Gerwen versus, I don't know, Humphreys in prime sort of thing? I don't know.
That's a good shout. Okay. I think if you're going to go for both of them, I think the better shout would have probably been Prime Van Gerwen or Prime Humphreys. Mm-hmm. I think if you're going to go for Gerwyn Price, I'd go probably Prime Gezi or Prime Peter Wright. There's an argument between that. It is... The Gerwyn Price in his prime, I've stated many times, is one of the best primes I've ever seen. 2 9-darters in a single night, a world championship win. He was that guy, world number one. Guy. He was the man. It was Gezi. That's what, Booyah, Mr. Booyah.
Oh, I love Gezi.
But it's Michael van Gerwen though.
Okay.
In his prime, he hit 17 perfect darts.
Yeah.
So do you know what that is? That would be a 9-darter. Yeah. This is what he did, a 9-darter, hit it, and his next 9 darts, he missed double 12 for 2 9-darters in a row.
Right, okay.
That, for me, is highlight. And that don't even constitute what he's won, what he did in his prime. He obviously second most world championships. I think he's got... Is it the most? Or it must be Phil Taylor the most. But he's up there with most trophies. I think he's second, actually. Most Premier League wins of all time. It's Michael van Gerwen. It's not close.
Okay.
It's not. Gerwyn Price is my favourite dart player.
Yeah.
Followed very closely by Aspinall. Mm-hmm. But no, as far as ability goes, it's Mighty Michael.
I mean, I trust you on this because I don't know what they were like in their prime, so I will 100% trust you on that.
I will say, if you argue with anyone about prime, though, Gezi is up there. He was unstoppable when he was him, when he was Mr. Booyah, when he was
the Booyah man.
Yeah, and do you know what? You see shades of it to this day.
Yeah,
I think we've mentioned to you many times about Gezi is when he's on form, he's one of the best players you'll see.
Yeah, you guys have mentioned that a few times.
It's like if I see Humphries versus Gezi, I don't go, Humphries is going to slaughter him, yeah? I would never say that because in my head I'm thinking, if Gezi shows up, Gezi's big issue is doubles, is checking out. If I can see Gezi, but then you got him the other day. He didn't miss a single dart at double for the first 5 legs against Humphries.
Yeah.
So it's there like, if Gezi is on form, I fancy him against Humphries, Littler, Michael van Gerwen. He is honestly one of the best players on the planet when he's on form. It's just he flips and flops.
Yeah.
He can literally go from, if it was a Premier League night, he can go from beating Humphries to losing. I think I'm a really bad darts player now, like the worst darts player in the world. Me.
Okay.
Me.
You could lose to you. No one could. No.
No, I'm pretty good.
So silly.
I've got him pretty good.
Don't be silly, Jess.
But speaking of darts,
yes.
someone predictions was right.
Correct again.
You know what? I've said this week when we do predictions in a second. I'm not having a laugh. I'm not joking about it. I'm doing my actual full-on prediction. I'm not going risky
do you know
with
what?
it.
I'm even saying now, don't ask me, because you know who I think is going to win. Because I back him every week. And I'm telling you now, none of you lot have the balls to back him as well.
Because it's just me and you, though. We will have to go in depth a little bit about it.
Okay, but I'm just saying I know who I'm going to back, because I back him every week, and I always back him. And this week, again, proved wild. So firstly, I was right on the Notts Forest Man City, and then I was right on
the
this.
winner of the Premier League,
so
yes.
I'm just saying.
We did speak about this at the pub. Why does Littler get the hate when he is just a young lad and whatnot? Yeah, and we said, do you think it is just because a lot of people see him and think this guy he's the most talented darts player I've seen. I think he will go down as the great. For what he's doing at 17 is mental.
I think it's that aspect that's so impressive, though, isn't it? It's his age. Like, he's just so young to be carrying that weight, and yet he's on a stage with, I don't know, how many people are in a darts stadium? Like, it must be like, what, 100,000 maybe?
Oh, it won't be 100k.
No?
We're saying how the biggest stadium is going to be Old Trafford's a new one.
Right, okay.
I wouldn't even go over 10k, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
okay.
Maybe. you really misinterpreted how big darts stadiums are.
But I'm just thinking, like, there's a lot of people, and he delivers, and for saying how young he is, he doesn't seem to like, obviously you've seen it before where he does get a bit stressed, and he does seem to wobble a little bit, but he is genuinely so good, and when he actually is on form, he's so good.
I think a lot of people take realism out of sport and social media and entertainment. It's the same with boxing. A lot of people take the like Deontay Wilder, what we were talking about last week. A lot of people look at it like, yeah, but he's not knocked out any big boxer, you know that. Do you understand?
That's impression there.
Do you understand how hard it is to knock someone out? And then you've got to remember how hard it is to knock someone out who's 20 stone or above. Yeah. And no one takes that into account. Mm-hmm. Nobody takes into account, same thing with darts, is you literally have to get your arm as steady as possible. You have to keep completely steady and focused, And then the other realistic aspect, what were we doing when we were 17? Yeah. Imagine you. I was going to say me, but I'm pretty extroverted. Imagine you on a stage playing darts with a bunch of people going, "Wait, we're whistling, stand up." How would you feel that? How would you manage that?
Cry.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people take so much about the realistic aspect of just life outside, because it is social media, innit?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like when you see fights or knockouts online. You never look at the feeling. You never look at what people might actually be going through. Yeah. This got deep real quick.
Quick,
But I think when you do deep it, you kind of actually see like, geez, he is good.
He's so impressive,
he does deserve what he's got.
Yeah.
Hitting 9 darts, winning the world championship at that age is insane.
Unreal.
But I think that's why people get jealous, is everyone loves having a throw.
Yeah.
And I think they see this kid who's actually insanely good at it, earning Must be millions now. Must be millions. So it's there like, what can
I
you
think
do?
what makes it sad though isn't just the fact that I think fans sort of say stuff about him, but also the fact that Aspinall came out and said that other players aren't nice to him. And I just think he is literally just a 17-year-old
Just a lad, yeah.
Like, he's doing everything he can.
Yeah.
He is so good at what he does. Why are we sort of not encouraging that and sort of taking away from
I think he's 18 now, actually. Why are we saying 17? He's 18.
No, I think he's still 17.
He's 18
He's
now.
18 now.
Turning in the world, yeah.
Oh, bless him.
But
yeah.
I think it's like, again, for me, I don't get it. I just don't get it, hatred. He's like, he won the Belgium the other day, but with the Belgium darts open again.
Of course he did.
Because he's that good, yeah.
Of course he did.
However, there is something we need to talk about on that
Okay,
one.
go on.
Stephen Bunting had a match against...
All right.
Oh, no, this is a different... It's against Jermaine Watamine. You know who I'm talking about. Big lad, German. I think he's German. Jermaine Watamina, I think his name is.
Maybe.
I know. You know what? It's funny. I know his name. I just can't say it.
Yeah.
Essentially, he had a bit of a go at Stephen Bunting afterwards. I do, for the life of me, can't actually remember or know what it is about.
Right.
Because all I saw was just a clip on Thingy.
Yeah.
He's basically gone up to him. I wish we had video here. Don't know that yet. And Stephen Bunting's in the classic crowd thing. Everyone does it where you fob him off slightly, go, I don't like that, yeah. But then he's gone on the mic afterwards. Obviously, that must have been heat at the moment. And he's basically just turned around and said, like, that's not what this game is about. That's not me. I didn't mean to disrespect him at all, if that's what he's upset about. Yeah. It's just classic Stephen Bunting being lovely type thing. But yeah, it's situations like that, because it reminds me of, do you remember when Pikachu?
Oh, Pikachu.
When he had to go at Littler.
I mean, look, I wasn't agreeing with it. However, I have to let the Pikachu thing go because
his name's Pikachu.
His name's Pikachu, and his actual walking song
is the Pokemon theme.
It's so hard to be angry at someone like that.
I just think when it comes to the stage and whatnot, you've lost.
Yeah.
If you want to have a go at him, by all means do it. Just
do it in the privacy.
Yeah, just take it behind the scene. You've lost. Shake the hand, handle it like a man, and walk off. It is just.
That's the thing. Like, I kind of get it back. I don't think I've ever seen it now, but you know, back when we've watched old darts games and you can see them where they're like going up behind them and coughing and things like that. 100% I understand why you'll kind of lose your rag a little bit with that, but losing it on stage now when they've not done anything, you just lost. I mean, I don't know obviously why he's sort of freaked out over it, but if it is just because he's lost, that's so.
I think the big one for a lot of people nowadays is called. It's the disrespect in darts, and I completely disagree. It's same with showmanship. Aspinall did it. Aspinall was a showman. Gezzy's a showman. That's why a lot of people get annoyed at it. But big one is when, let's say you're on 80, yeah? The classic checkout for 80 would be treble 20, double 10. Because if you miss, you hit 20, when you get another 20, double top, yeah? Or you can also go for treble 18, double 13, but if you miss, it will leave 62.
Yeah.
There's so many routes you can go, to be honest with you. But the main thing is the showman aspect is top stops.
Yeah.
And Littler went for top stop, and I think that's why Pikachu had a go at him, because of the showman going for top stop and whatnot. But that doesn't affect your game.
Yeah, no.
That does not affect your game at all. I think if you're losing, it's because they have outplayed you.
Yeah.
I completely.
100%.
If they've turned around, like coughing and the farting on stage, I believe was one not too long ago, or the booyah or whatnot. Yeah.
Oh, I love the booyah.
It's darts. Get your whole. If you can't handle the mentality aspect of it.
Yeah.
Although maybe they're putting on a bit. That's on you. You have to get in the mentality.
I think there's a difference as well between the coughing aspect is actively putting someone off when they're throwing darts.
Yeah.
Whereas the booyahs and things like that's just a celebration.
Yeah.
Like that's, and I don't think that's got anything.
I love how we call
it
the booyah.
The booyah,
yeah. Let's do it. We've got to.
Okay, we're doing the predictions this week.
It's just become our weekly clip now. We've just
Charlie's favourite time of the week.
Yeah, of me getting it wrong, my own sport wrong weekly.
I mean, I very rarely do get it right. Let's face it, because I always just back
another
him.
story in darts. Apparently, Aspinall on the way to the final against Littler had a beer thrown at him.
No, not Aspinall.
I know, one of the fan favourites as well.
Who would would do that?
Who would actually do that?
Firstly, I think it's disgusting when you're throwing stuff at, celebrities and
Never
things like
do
that.
that, yeah.
Secondly, in today's economy, that is expensive. Like,
the pints at darts.
Exactly.
Oh my
Can you
God.
imagine? I mean, we've not been yet. Obviously, we're going to the Premier. I don't know if we've mentioned this in May. We're going to the Premiership final. But can you imagine how much money that's going to cost?
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it now, to be honest with you.
And then imagine you've thrown it on someone. I'd be livid at you.
Do you know what it is?
You're just wasted.
I've said it again about comments and reviews as well, yeah. Another highlight for us to post. It's when I'm at work, when we hear about the bad reviews and whatnot, how can you even sit there and write one?
Yeah.
I severely can't be arsed.
Yeah.
I get angry, don't get me wrong, if a bad service and whatnot, but I can't be arsed to show it. I'll just complain about it at home.
I'd never do it about a place, but I've definitely done it before, like with, I don't know, a product where it's just like broken.
Maybe.
But never about if I was going to
I can gladly say I've never left a negative. I've left good reviews.
Why are we talking about reviews?
Because I'm going to go...
right, okay.
I can't even be arsed to leave a review.
Right.
I really can't be asked if I'm at a stadium or something, if I'm with the away team, I'll give them all the crap and whatnot,
Right.
I can't really be asked to go over to them or fight when fights are caused,
Yeah.
And I especially can't be asked to waste something of my own or waste a pint or waste something, to just chuck it at someone.
$1.
Yeah, because then what? You're going to get kicked out, banned for life, for what? I chucked a pint at someone. It's just
Granted,
stupid.
everyone else, when sober, is going to tell you how much you are.
Yeah, how much you...
So, what have you gained?
You're not going to wake up the next day like, oh, we chucked a pint at Aspinall. You're going to wake up the next day being like,
God, I didn't do that, did I?
You're that guy then when someone goes, oh, should we go watch the darts? Fun fact, we actually can't now.
Yeah.
Or...
I'm banned for life.
Yeah, you're banned because we chucked a pint at someone. You just, I don't get it. You think it's funny, but you just, I can't swear on the podcast, but it's just not good.
You're a knob.
It's not
I'll
good,
say
man.
it.
It's just,
you're a knob.
You're a knob. It's going to be different for you.
Okay.
You can't cheat.
What do you mean I can't cheat?
The first match is Humphreys versus Littler.
Littler,
okay.
So
at least you can have different. Yeah, but at least you can have a different one.
Yeah, but last week was I said Littler and Pricey.
You did.
So I do.
So we've got Littler, Humphreys, Rob Cross, Chris Dobie.
Rob Cross, your best friend.
My bestie.
Yeah.
Stephen Bunting, Gerwin Price.
Pricey.
Aspinall Van Gerwen.
Do you know what? To be interesting, because I know reasonably everyone's going to say Van Gerwen, but
no, I wasn't.
I love Aspinall, so I'm going to say Aspinall.
Okay, then your semis.
Yeah.
Littler Cross.
Littler.
And then it would be Price Aspinall.
Price.
And then Littler Price.
And then, do I be interested in say Price wins?
Are you going to actually be interested? Because let it be you, because I'm being serious this week. Okay. Let it be you have a joke week and actually win it.
Actually win it.
That would have hurt my soul.
Okay, I'll go Price then, just to be interested.
Okay.
But, as always... You know my feeling. Yeah. I always think Littler's going to win, but I will say Price just to be a little bit different this week. Otherwise, it's going to become a boring thing.
I will agree with the... I'm actually going to Littler Dobie.
Okay.
I'm going to go Gezi. Stephen Bunt, and he's not going to get any... But he's already got that. He's not got any points yet.
Yeah, I love Stephen, but I love him. Not doing great.
I think weirdly at the moment we're making it to the final. Aspinall's I think second at the moment.
Okay. I didn't think he was.
Oh, he was the one where everyone was there like he shouldn't be in this. He shouldn't be in the darts league and whatnot. I could be wrong. I think he is second.
No, I didn't know that
because he's made it to the final. He made it to the final. Did he win? Or did Gezi? Yeah, he's made it to the final twice, sorry.
Yeah.
He's been in a few semi-finals now I can think of on the top of my head. And then he got knocked out in round one and the first game of the season. So he's actually done all right, yeah. Thinking about it now, other than the ones that have actually won the night, he's done very well. Did he win a night? I think he did. My memory's horrible. You'll come to know that I have a very bad memory, but my prediction...
This is why you write things down.
Littler Dobie Price, I'm going to go... He is due on Van Gerwen. So I will go Van Gerwen. I love Aspinall, but I will go Van Gerwen.
Okay.
Littler in the final, obviously. Van Gerwen, I'm going to say Van Gerwen's going to win.
Okay.
Because he is due on.
Yeah.
He's not going to go a Premier League season without a night win.
Well,
he just can't do it.
We'll see next week. Because imagine we clip it and I'm right.
That would hurt. That would really, really hurt.
You'd be so upset. Just think as well, I could be right again. we've not even done football this week, but we've done darts. And if I keep being right, it's going to be embarrassing for you. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
do you know what as well, though? At the end of my little talking bit, I'll have a nice little prediction session for you.
Okay, I'm in for it. I'm in for it. Wait, so, Charlie, but what is your bit? What would you be talking about?
Well,
Who?
I might be talking this week a little bit about Formula 1. Now, I actually don't have loads to talk about because obviously Formula 1 is happening this weekend. So we talked about testing last week. This weekend we're obviously racing in Albert Park. Which is in Australia, which means I'm going to be getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch.
Oh, Charlie.
I know, I'm getting up for it. So I'll be watching at 4 o'clock in the morning for Albert Park. So I'm really excited for that anyway. And not to mention as well, MotoGP is actually racing this weekend as well in the Termas de Rio Hondo, which is in... I know.
Wow, okay.
I was going to try and do a little bit of a Termas de Rio, which is in Argentina. So basically this weekend is actually going to be Formula 1 and MotoGP, so which is really exciting because I'll be able to watch, obviously I'll only be watching Formula 1 at 4 o'clock and then I'll be able to watch MotoGP in the afternoon. So I'm quite excited to be able to watch them both anyway. As much as I'd love to talk about the race, obviously can't because it's not happened yet, and it's kind of very difficult to talk about the cars and everything when it's, you know, we've not really seen what they're actually like. I can go by testing, things like that, but we've not actually seen them yet. However, what I can...
When does it kick off for you, Sarah?
When's the kick-off? The kick-off?
When does a season start?
So the season officially starts on Friday. Well, officially starts on Friday is the first practice and the second practice.
So you're saying...
qualifying Saturday and races Sunday.
So you're saying sponsor us. Right. Formula 1 starts on Friday and everyone should be watching it.
Everyone should be watching Formula 1 on, You can watch it on Now TV, on Sky.
You know what? You've got a lot of notes there, but I want to ask a quick prediction.
Go on then.
First night win, first race win.
Who's
going to win the first
I'm
Grand Prix?
gutted because I was going to do that at the end, Jesse.
Oh, you know what?
I've got other things to talk about.
You lot can wait.
I know. Jesus, hold your horses.
Go on.
But this week, something big has happened, and I'm sure you will be aware of Drive to Survive.
Oh, is it back?
It's back. So I have managed. I actually got back from work last night. I did a late, so I got back from work last night, managed to get 1 episode in, and I've had 4 episodes today. However, there's so many things wrong with it, and I will say, as someone who, I didn't necessarily get into Formula 1 because of Drive to Survive, but I did get into Formula 1, like I understood Formula 1 better with the help of Drive to Survive. Obviously, I managed to understand the teams better, the drivers, the car. Like, I understood the cars, but obviously, I sort of trampolined off that, as it were, onto actually watching Formula 1, actually watching, YouTube videos, things like that, trying to understand the cars better, things like that. Obviously, I am a massive nutter when it comes to Formula 1.
Even I'm happy to hear that.
But Drive to Survive is back. So I have made a few notes as to what's happened so far. I've not finished the whole season yet.
Do you know a fun little fact?
Go on.
Drive to Survive. So I've only ever seen them one episode. I need to watch the whole thing.
You do need to watch it.
Because the only episode I've seen was so good.
I think if you watch it, you will actually really like Formula 1 from it.
So it was that popular and that good.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime tried to copy it in a football version called All or Nothing.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good as the episode of Drive to Survive.
So I will say, because Amazon also... Was it Amazon who did the Man City... documentary.
All or Nothing. Yeah.
Was that? So I did watch that, and I will say it was all right. It was really good, but it wasn't on the same level as Drive to Survive.
So they've done one for like each club. Did
they do it for each one? I was going to say I've only seen the City one.
I've seen clips from the Tottenham one, and I've seen clips from the Arsenal one, and the City one, obviously.
Yeah, I've seen the City one.
But it was good.
Yeah,
but it's not Drive to Survive.
It was because of the City one my love for Edison came about. But anyway, so Drive to Survive has come out. Obviously, it's a brand new season. The thing is about last season, it was is in full Formula 1. It was so good because so much happened, and when you actually focus on the race aspect, and I think it does show that I probably have really outgrown Drive to Survive to a degree, because they don't really focus in any capacity now on racing much. It is more about what happens outside of it, which is fine, and I understand why. It is the thing that gets people a little bit more excited, and it is probably more interesting to a lot of people. But I did make some notes on so far the 5 episodes that I've watched, and I've actually looked online a little bit as to what other people have sort of said as to, in terms of what is missing and what I've noticed to be missing as well. So first episode, Will Buxton starts it off. So basically the first episode sets out with just after Christmas break. So as soon as your winter breaks like courts, obviously, usually a little bit of news comes out during the winter break. The big news last winter was Lewis Hamilton was moving to Ferrari, which is obviously groundbreaking. No one was expecting it. Everyone thought Lewis was going to go for his final championship. Well, I say final, maybe more, but obviously the one that he lost out on, as it were. We all thought he was going to finish that at Mercedes. However, big turn, he went with Ferrari. Now, everyone can battle as to why he went with Ferrari. I've heard rumours that he asked for a lot more from Mercedes that they weren't willing to give, so he moved over, but who knows why he moved. That's his thing. But Will Buxton is one of the funniest guys on Drive to Survive, purely for the reason that he states things so obviously. So he's the guy, do you know, whenever I say to you, like, well, if you're not in the front, you're not winning, he's the guy who sort of says stuff like that.
Like, just say similar stuff like that, to
he's
be fair.
the guy who says the most obvious things.
Well, if you're not winning the race, if you're not at the front of the queue, you're not at the front of the queue, are you, mate?
Genuinely, he says stuff like that. But I love him. It's like there was one quote where he basically said, well, there's only 2 places in the team, so if you're not in one of the 2 places, you're not on the team. And I was like, obviously, Will.
That's how it works.
Obviously.
If you're not in the starting lineup,
I love him.
You're not playing at the start, are you?
And genuinely, if he became a football commentator, I think it would be your favourite. He is brilliant. He started off talking about Hamilton to Ferrari, and he called it seismic. I don't know why I noted it down. I just loved that. Seismic.
Wait, his car's name Seismic?
No, he said that Lewis moving to Ferrari.
I thought he said his car name was Seismic.
No, his car. No, they don't name the cars.
Oh, that would be. I think they should.
No, I don't think they should. But yeah, so they said obviously that. I thought that was brilliant, so I put a little bit of a note on that, like that. So we also have the first complaint of the season. Now, I've done this specially. I feel like Hart will appreciate this. First complaint of the season basically was during testing, and without question, without fail, the reason for that complaint was Charles Leclerc had to go around Lance Stroll. Shock horror. He was in the wrong place during testing. No surprises to anyone. I like the fact as well, Lance Stroll's not really had a lot to do with Drive to Survive during this season. I'm quite happy about that. He does depress me massively.
Okay,
in the same way you get upset when Derby loses, when he's mentioned...
I don't get upset anymore, Char. Okay. I just... You know what it's like, Char? How do I describe this? Do you know when you're having a poo?
Right. I don't know if I like where this is going.
Or do you know when you have to clip your nails and whatnot, yeah?
Right.
You don't enjoy it, do you? But you just have to. Okay. You just do it because you have to do it. That's what it's like being a Derby fan at this moment in time. But then we went and won, got the Derby. But you know what's even better at the moment is this moment in time, Charlie? Formula One. Tell me more.
Thank you. I mean, I don't know how I felt about that, but sure. So one thing that was mentioned, and I think you will be aware of this because I think I've spoken about it multiple times in front of you, was the Christian Horner scandal.
I remember you mentioned.
I was going to say, you might have a vague recollection. Basically, Christian Horner was investigated for, I want to say it was inappropriate behaviour is how they worded it. Basically, he was texting his assistant inappropriately.
I've not heard this. You've not told me this.
Yeah, so I think me and Dad discussed it at length. But yeah, basically he... allegedly was messaging I think it was his personal assistant. I don't want to say it for definite, but I think it was his personal assistant. He was texting her. Without question, it was inappropriate.
He was messaging someone.
It was like the text that I've seen. Obviously, I've not seen all the texts, but there was like loads of texts that were sent out. The texts that I've seen, I would say, are inappropriate and are edging on that sort of sexual basis. But he obviously vehemently denies it. However, the big thing that happened is they focus a whole episode on it, which is fine, whatever. But I didn't like the fact that the way they spoke about it was very much... It was almost like they didn't want to say what kind of things he was messaging. So we knew that what they were talking about. If you were a fan, you knew what they were talking about. But if you weren't a fan and you just happened to be watching Drive to Survive, I don't think you'd know.
No, yeah.
Just because of the way they were wording it. It was almost like they didn't want to say you were sexually inappropriately messaging a woman. Yeah. It just wasn't. And they kept mentioning the fact that Jerry Halliwell, who's his wife, Jerry Horner, Spice Girls, Ginger Spice.
I do know Ginger Spice, yeah.
she kept kind of popping up, and it was very much like a we're fine sort of thing. And I remember just thinking like Netflix made it out very nicely is all I'm saying. It was not in the way that I expected.
They did Netflix it up a bit.
They Netflixed it up. It definitely seems like Red Bull paid a decent chunk.
Do you remember what they did that with the Vince McMahon story? They just Netflixed it up.
The biography where it's basically
it wasn't even anything to do.
Yeah, and you just think, in fact, why is it not? Granted, it had already all come out by that point. You could have mentioned it, and they just chose to skate.
Do you know what's funny as well? Is they used trailer. After it to boost it up, being like, oh, they're going to go right into this.
And then they didn't.
Do you know what's horrible? It was more of like a, look at what this guy did for
it was like, a congratulation, which I kind of feel like this whole season, they've tried to twist his how he looks, Christian Horner, and I didn't like it. Oh. They also didn't really go over... They sort of briefly mentioned... So Jos Verstappen, who is Max's dad, had a lot to say in the media, and they kind of brushed over it a little bit. They mentioned it. They mentioned the fact it's obviously a bit, unsteady, but they didn't go into it. Yeah. So I was a bit like, oh, that would have been really juicy to go into that. If you were going to go into the actual... Because at the end of the day, Drive to Survive, it's more like a Real Housewives sort of season. Yeah. It's not really about racing.
This is what bothers me about sport, especially, is it's just in media, actually, in general, is... Us as a fact, we're all on Twitter, we're all on social media.
Yeah.
You've seen the text messages. We know this is happening. If you're brushing past it, you're making yourself look bad. Yeah. Like, don't brush past it.
They dedicated a whole episode to it, don't get me wrong. So it was like a decent chunk. It was just almost, it just didn't feel like they really wanted to paint anyone in a bad light when reasonably you don't come off well. I understand that it's, been settled and everything and, Bob's your uncle. Yeah. But it still happened. You still aren't going to be painted in a great light. Anyway, moving on. We've also had the scandal with Max and... Well, they made a scandal with Max and Lando, basically making out that Max and Lando had this, massive... I mean, they did have a big rivalry. They're going to have a big rivalry this year, no ifs or buts. But they made out like they weren't friends anymore. And there's a particular bit that everyone's been pointing out where Max looks really upset after Lando's first win in Miami, which I watched it. Max was not upset.
Yeah.
You could tell he wasn't upset. You could tell he was happy for his friend, but they've edited it, and people have actually noticed how they've edited it. They've used the Zandvoort cap, which is Max's home race. So they've actually edited clips
from a
different bit where he looks upset because he has lost his home race. At that point, I think he did lose it to Lando as well. So he has actually lost in that clip, but they've moved it to the Miami one to make it look like he's upset over his friend's first win, which I did think was a bit shady. I didn't like that at all. But so they did that, and then so these are the things they haven't mentioned at all, which really deserved a massive mention in Drive to Survive. Colapinto joined F1 because Logan Sargent was told to leave Williams, which is fair. He was not a good enough driver. No offence to Logan Sargent, lovely. They didn't mention Colapinto driving at all. They didn't mention Behrman racing for Sainz. They did mention the fact that Sainz was out for a race, but they didn't mention how good Behrman was in place of Sainz. I mean, Behrman scored quite high points as well in that. So it should have been mentioned, didn't. Hamilton winning Silverstone. Now, they did mention he won it, but it was so grazed over. And I need to make it clear, Hamilton winning Silverstone was not expected, and it was such a big deal because Hamilton hadn't won in, I want to say, 2 to 3 seasons. So him winning Silverstone deserved its own bloody episode, in my opinion. Like, it deserved so much more than what it got, and it literally was just Hamilton's won Silverstone on the basis of George Russell bottled it. Like, there was no need, like, he deserved so much more than that. But
Silverstone,
I know it was big. Perez leaving F1 now. Sergio Perez has basically
Red
now,
Bull,
he was Red Bull. He had an awful season. I mean, he'd had an awful 2 seasons, to be honest. I don't understand why Red Bull kind of continued, but they did, usually he is a part of Drive to Survive. He's been a part of it before. He's done interviews, no mention. Like, they didn't even talk about him leaving F1, which I think is a massive shame. Ricciardo had a second episode of him leaving F1, because Ricciardo's left F1 before, and then they've done another one and I'm just a bit, I feel like he did deserve it. For what he's given to F1, he deserved to have at least one episode, or at least a mention, a decent 15-minute mention of what he's done. The big one, though, that I think they didn't mention at all, the swearing scandal. So the
you saying this, yeah.
have not mentioned, so they didn't go into the fact that the swearing thing has happened, which why you wouldn't go into that,
Even I heard
don't
about that story.
know. Yeah.
We spoke about this story on the podcast.
We've spoken about this story so many times. I don't understand why you wouldn't mention that. It's such a big deal in Drive to Survive. Like, to mention the kind of the backstage drama, that was the biggest backstage drama I feel from last year. Not to mention as well, you got Bottas who's left, you got Zhao who's left, so many people who've moved or left, and I just feel like they've really let the ball down a little bit with what they've mentioned and what they've chosen to talk about versus what I really think they should have. A big one for me as well is they didn't even mention the fact that Adrian Newey left Red Bull to go to Aston Martin.
Yeah.
I understand your focus really wants to be on the drivers, but Adrian Newey is beyond the expectations of a normal driver. He is creating machines that are rocket ships. Red Bull won, I would personally say, down to Adrian Newey's skill. He designed a car that broke records, and yet they chose not to even mention the fact that he left Red Bull. And, arguably the reason he left Red Bull, a lot of sources say was down to the Christian Horner scandal. A lot of sources say that, but that wasn't even mentioned, the fact he moved, which I think was a massive shame because he should have been mentioned. So, didn't like that. I say we do your darts predictions every week. Would you like to have a little bit of a prediction of an F1 prediction? We could do MotoGP, but I feel like I don't know enough about MotoGP yet, so I don't think you'll feel like, I don't think you know anyone in MotoGP. I mentioned Marc Marquez the other week. That's it. So I feel like that's where your knowledge will end. Whereas F1,
the first race of the season,
it's Albert Park in Australia.
Okay, I will go.
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton.
You're going to go Lewis Hamilton? Is his first race with Ferrari?
I think the story's been written.
That is a strong prediction.
Or
okay,
Lando Norris.
You're going to go Lando Norris.
I love Lando. Okay. I love Lando.
I am going to say, now, I am a Ferrari girl. Charles Leclerc has my heart, without question. Lewis Hamilton has my heart, without question. However, this is a big one.
Max Verstappen.
No, I'm actually going to say Oscar Piastri. I actually feel like Piastri, just because it's an Aussie track, he's so good. And I just feel he's going to want to start it strong. McLaren are going to want to start it strong. I feel like Oscar's got a good chance of really going for it. I want to say Charles. My heart's saying to say Charles. My head's saying Oscar. So I'll go with my head on this one, and I'll say Oscar Piastri.
I'm happy with that. Yeah. Okay. I'll stick with Lando. Actually, I'll stick with Lando or Hamilton.
Okay. Well, no, you go with Hammy. You said Hammy to begin with.
I'll go Hamilton.
And it's Hammy's first race.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'll stick with Hamilton then.
Now, Carl has his final question for us.
Yep.
You aren't going to know the answer to this question.
Not. I've heard it and I don't know either of them.
I'm going to go with it. Right.
Third is F1. Who is better? Prime v Prime in the exact same car, exact same team, everything. Hypothetically. Checo Perez or Daniel Ricciardo?
Okay, so
I have no idea. I know Ricciardo.
I was going to say, you know who Ricciardo is. You know who's. You probably will be able to say which one's which, but you've never seen either of them drive. I would say in this instance, I personally. Weirdly as well, I actually don't rate either of them, if I'm honest with you. When people kind of go crazy over both of them, I do feel like they were consistent, they were great drivers, but they were easily beaten by better drivers. And I think that's fair to say. And when I say better drivers, I mostly mean better driver, singular being Max. Max basically beat them both times. They both raced for Red Bull. Prime Daniel Ricciardo is Red Bull. Prime Sergio Perez, I'd also argue, is his early stages in Red Bull. I would say Daniel Ricciardo was so much more. I think he was a lot more passionate, and he just seemed to have a bit more drive, whereas Sergio Perez almost accepted, I think, his P2 role, whereas Daniel Ricciardo wasn't willing to accept it, and that's why he ended up moving. So originally Daniel Ricciardo was expected to stay with Red Bull and just continue. He didn't. He chose to leave the contract, and then he went to, at the time, Renault, then went to McLaren, Whereas Sergio Perez went into Red Bull and it almost seemed like from the first season he accepted a P2 position.
So mentality
Was massive different.
We've got to.
Yeah, Ricciardo was really impressive, really strong. I mean, he won Monaco Grand Prix, which... Monaco is very difficult. Yeah, you do know Monaco. Monaco Grand Prix is so difficult to win, and he managed to do that. It's one of those like prestigious sort of Grand Prix that you do want to win. So personally, I mean, to be fair, Perez has also won Monaco, but I would personally say Ricciardo won it in a car as well that wasn't a rocket ship, whereas Perez won it in a rocket ship. So it's a bit different. But I would personally say Ricciardo was far more impressive.
I'm happy with that. I know Ricciardo, so I'm happy to go there.
Okay. Right. So this week we have managed to talk about football.
Yes.
We've managed to talk about Derby County.
Oh, yes.
We've managed to talk about darts.
Yes.
We've managed to talk about the fact that I was right again.
Yes.
We've managed to talk about Drive to Survive.
Yes.
Have we convinced you to watch it?
I would love to watch Drive to Survive.
Yes, I'll watch it with you, Jess. I'll rewatch the whole thing. That's fine.
Drive to Survive.
So,
Future me, I would like to put a message to Future me in an hour's time. Up the Rams.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. That's all. That's all. All that needs to be said.
Sure. I mean, by this point, by the time it comes out, it won't matter anyway.
Exactly.
So anyway, we've had a great time this week. Obviously, next week, the middle child will be returning.
Returned, yes.
He will be returning to talk about boxing in UFC because that's been missed out this week.
Yeah.
So he will be back next week. However, for this week, thank you for listening. Thank you seriously every single week. Whenever we see that people have listened, whenever we see people have downloaded, comments, anything, we absolutely love it and it makes us so happy every single week. So thank you. You can watch us on Facebook.
Oh.
You can watch us on Instagram. I mean, you can't watch us, but you can look at us.
Yeah.
On Insta, on
Damn
Facebook.
right. Oh.
You can watch us on TikTok.
Oh.
You can watch us on YouTube.
Oh.
You can listen to us anywhere you listen to a podcast. Anywhere. You're listening to it right now, wherever you want to listen it to. This is amazing.
And the drunk live stream is coming.
The drunk live stream is not coming.
The live stream, the Champions League.
Not drunk.
Not the actual Champions League, but our reactions.
Drunk.
You can watch along with us.
Not drunk.
Fine.
Anyway, thank you ever so much for listening, guys, and we hope to see you next week.
We love you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.